Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Ember Esports. We are here tonight to watch a best of three in the low bracket. We got Stunned Gaming Eclipse versus the Monkeys Chopped Iron Roo. Joining me tonight is Jack for what should be a very exciting elimination series. How do you feel about these two teams coming into this one?
I feel like we're in for a very good match, seeing as they both come in with pretty similar standings. Obviously, Stunned comes in from that upper bracket, got knocked off, heading down to the losers. But Monkeys Chopped won their first series against TSI Always Plotting, which are one of our better teams, top third of the standings, and then beat by CCI, who are the standouts. Obviously, XSV is going to be a tough matchup, but I feel like both these teams very well poised to make a lower bracket run and potentially give the loser of our upper finals a run for their money.
Yeah, well, that game's going to be a little ways away, but while we got this one here going, we've also got TSI Always Plotting, as you said, the loser, two Monkeys Chopped. They're playing against Spaghetti Spire. That's happening elsewhere. We're focusing on this one here, which was coming into the fourth up against the sixth seed, though. I think based off of that massive series win that we saw previously from Monkeys Chopped, calling them a sixth seed might be doing a little bit of disservice. Taking CCI to 3 games as well, that's a pretty good sign, no?
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of these teams we've seen in the Scorch League, there's a ton of parity outside of those top two. So any games taken off of them is going to be extremely impressive. And we see now as we get into the bans that Ghoul Freak on the side of Stunned Gaming is highly targeted in this matchup. He is the second highest ranked, though I don't know their peak rank. And based on those first two bans, they are not looking to let him get something that can scale unbelievably into the game. Still gets his hands on Yunara, which is one of the stronger champs on the patch.
Yeah, and another champ that he's quite comfortable playing as well by the looks of things, but trying to get rid of some of those hyper carries, of course, it is difficult to get rid of all of them. So just the Jinxless Molder taken away by Monkeys. On the other side of things, we've got Aatrox, Caitlyn, and Nautilus all banned away, courtesy of Stunned Gaming. So now that you see the Inara there, Monkeys, I'm interested to see what they want to take into this. I've seen Mel rise in Pro a little bit recently. Can't say I'm personally on board the hype train, but if you're comfortable, it gives you a lot of CS for free. Just the additional ability to last hit is quite nice. You can get pretty strong based off of that a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, my biggest concern right now is you pick it early. There are a decent number of counters. The Victor comes to mind. Early game, yeah, you can reflect the Arcane Ray, but after that point, it just gets really hard for Mel to accomplish much of anything. They're also leaving open the Ahri, which is Toglife's most played. With the Xin Zhao here, I feel like if you slammed like Lulu Ahri, you'd be in a pretty great situation to be able to win this game. You'd have a great win con. They are also going to go for the Orianna. Good takeaway. Works well as Xin Zhao. Also pretty good into Mel. Very little to reflect. I'm not even sure how the reflect mechanic would work with the ball if it sends it
shield
back to Georgia. Yeah, you just don't take damage. So very great. And with the immobility that Mel has, you could pick something like Jarvan right now, like they just did, and you've got a pretty great combo on your hands.
Hey, this guy knows. This guy knows his stuff. Let's go. Yeah, Jarvan, amazing choice here, of course, with, as you say, Mel being that immobile mid laner. Sometimes you want to wait for that second one to see what the ADC is going to go towards, but this time I'm just happy to say, you know what? We can kill this Mel whenever we want to now. Orianna, Jarvan, an amazing combo to do precisely that. And I think it's going to force Monkeys as well to draft into one of those more mobile ADCs that might have a bit of a harder time getting through something like the Jarvan. And what is going on here? That's Diana locked in.
The gears are turning. I'm looking. So Korra XTC, the top laner for Monkeys Chopped, plays mostly 80 carries. So I don't know if they're going to be running for it. In Mario games, their support is a Nocturne main. So I'm confused there. Mid lane has no Diana games unless that April Fool's icon is Diana and not Sejuani, which I think it is.
It does say I have to hover over them. It is Sejuani.
I've really got no clue. I mean, I will say there's a Masters mid laner that I've played with a couple times who plays Xin Zhao mid lane. It's great into Orianna, but I don't think that's what we're seeing. At least bans tell me that they are going to commit to dive because of this Braum ban, but other than that, I feel like if they don't have a real sure like identity, this could get pretty crazy the rest of this draft.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just a Mel shifting down to the support role now. I mean, it's not always the best. It might help you in the lane phase, but I mean, at that point, stunned, there's things to just win the lane, right? Karma looks like it's going to be banned away here, but there's multiple other options. Enchanter's still strong, the patch not quite in effect just yet. So Nami as well, pre-nerf, but you've also got other things just like an eco. If you think that, you know what, we don't really care about our maybe late game insane hypercarry potential. As long as we have the ability to get to that point, I think we'll be happy. And maybe that's what Stun Gaming go for here. They're looking to take away some of the late game potential that Monkeys could potentially have. The Yone and the Vayne, both very annoying when that time does come. So you'd see those two banned away for them there. Monkeys now, I mean, they're just making us all sorts confused. I'm going to have to say Mel APC at this point.
That's what I'm thinking, but my biggest question is if you're going Mel, APC, and a range support, why in the world did you ban Braum? I feel like you could put this guy so far behind early in that lane. I understand it's good against Xin, Diana, but I feel like if Stun Gaming just pick Lulu like that, this lane is still one for Stun Gaming. They can just put more damage out into that duo. Still works with the rest of their champions. Now you do have to blind your top lane, and you could, theoretically, it could be Diana top. We could already know what the top laner is, but with them not being sure, I just think you pick a very standard frontline slash
Ion.
diving top laner. Sion, even stuff like Mbessa. I don't know if Renekton or Volibear are in the bag for Korra, so that could be open Zahen. It's hard trying to predict when they're Emerald games because we don't know what their priorities are. Sneaky does like Renekton, but the Mundo will do just fine, provides frontline and can run forward.
Yeah, I am a little bit worried for him in terms of having just a lot of health instead of a lot of resistances. Probably going to be useful in his lane, but I mean, we've already seen 2 bulk abusers taken away. There's more than just that you can send up to the top lane. You said before, Monkeys chop top lane, lost playing ADCs. Don't mind Avaris in this type of situation, right? If you want to just destroy that lane up against the Mundo, take your Blade of the Ruin King early on, going to be very powerful into the Jarvan as well. Or you can just go for the even bigger lane diff and go Riven instead. Hello.
That is their most played top lane champ this season, 24 games, 58% win rate, and it does kind of fit with at least the theme of the Diana Xin Zhao, but it does kind of leave me questioning, at the Mel, Nami, bot lane combo, that's going to be very, very dangerous early game, the vulnerabilities you see down there. Whereas Stun Game and Eclipse, I mean, the win con couldn't be simpler. You just find the target, throw the ball on Jarvan or Mundo, run at them, lock them down, kill them. Now you got a numbers advantage. And for the Diana Xin Zhao Riven, it feels like it's going to be a tough time trying to get onto this Yunara when they've got wild growth and all what Lulu provides, plus a Jarvan and Mundo to run through.
It's a really interesting mix of both like dive and peel from both sides, right? I'm looking at this and we're like, you got the peel CC of the Lulu, the Jarvan can also peel back to save the Inara, but they're looking to go forwards a lot more often to try and use that EQ forwards and get onto things like the Mel. On the other side of things, we've got a similar situation, right? The Nami, very much so focused on the peel, on buffing the people around them, likely to go stuff flowing water this game instead of the typical art center because you got a Mel. You don't want to be autoing all too much, but then you want to be going forward at the same time. You've got Xin Zhao, Diana, and Riven. It's a really interesting mix from both sides where it feels like maybe some cohesion is lacking here.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing I always look at is, does the jungler's preferred play style match up with the team? Because if your jungler is off theme, it can throw off your entire game. That is generally a champion that has to play a certain way. And Jarvan does have a lot of variables. Like you said, you can go forward and just Cataclysm straight forward, or you can Cataclysm, EQ out of it, just try to frontline. You can pivot to defensive items really quickly. The biggest thing I like about this Stun Gaming Eclipse lineup is the Orianna, because when you talk about having multiple ways to play the game, the reason Orianna is the highest prio mid laner is because sure, you can pair it with a diving or engage champ and have that shockwave delivery, or you can just place the ball down and kite back into like a dragon or baron fight, and the enemy team, they have to contest at almost any point in the game, but you walk too far forward and you lose track, you're going to walk into a team-wide shockwave and it can really throw things for a loop.
Absolutely, right. The zone control, courtesy of the Orianna, something to definitely watch out for here, as I'm sure Stun Game will try and utilize that to their advantage. Are there any specific lanes you want to look at before we send it to a little break here? I'm interested to see how top lane goes personally.
Yeah, and I am very curious as to this bot lane. Mel, Nami is going to be able to poke pretty consistently, but if they don't land a lot of those abilities, they start to go and have to take bad backs. I'm expecting Mel to take teleport. Yunara packs a lot of punch early on. People think that she needs to scale. She really doesn't. So if Yunara Lulu can look to get ahead early, I think that this bot lane could be a early win for Stun Gaming Eclipse.
I think that's definitely going to be the pivot point for both these sides, right? Especially early on. If you can win through bot, then the rest of the map might not matter so much, right? We would expect with a counter pick, A, he's comfortable playing Riven. B, he should be comfortable playing it into this matchup since it's his counter pick, right? We expect in some regards that means top side should be relatively secure for Monkeys. So anytime I see a Riven, I'm interested because that champion just does weird things that you don't usually get to see from a lot of other top laners. Mid lane, I think the dynamic of a melee champion into Orianna interests me quite a lot as well. I have to say, playing Diana, no, I'm not personally acquainted with it, but like it feels like when you're trying to play into the Orianna, that can be quite difficult to claim the space at the right time against the orb.
Absolutely. And on the other side of this quick break, we're going to see game one.
The draft locks in and the crowd goes wild. Stun gaming eclipse. Step up with style. Monkeys chop already. They came to play. Ember League is serving. Heat up today. Chat moving fast. The hype don't stop. Every band a statement. Every pick a drop. Eclipse in the top lane. Chopped in the jungle. Two teams on the rift. About to rumble. You feel it in the air. The rift is calling. The whole stream is falling into the hype, into the night. Baby, we're live. Baby, we're live. You feel it in the air. The rift is calling. The whole stream is falling into the hype, into the night. Baby, we're live. Baby, we're live. It's got vision. It's got vision. We're pushing higher. It's got vision. Baby, we're live. Eclipse got vision. Controlling the map. Chopped on the dragon. They ain't giving it back. Dragons up and dirty. Both teams on the move. Them Vegas watching. Everybody in the groove. Team fight breaks off. The chat goes insane. Eclipse flashes forward. Shock counter engages. 5 versus 5. The nexus on the line. Unbelief tonight is absolutely fine. You feel it in the air. The rift is calling. The whole stream is falling into the hype, into the night. Baby, we're live. We're live. You feel it in the air. The rift is calling. The whole stream is falling into the hype, into the night. Baby, we're live. Baby, we're live. You didn't come to watch. You came to feel. This match is real. Every flash, every flight is a lie tonight. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Welcome everyone to the Rift for game number 1 between SGE and MKC. I'm definitely going to get the order of those letters mixed up at some point during this game, but we're not going to worry about that just now. Instead, we're going to worry about these two teams and what they've chosen to go with. As I'm looking around the Rift, I'm seeing very aggressive rune choices coming out from the monkeys.
Absolutely. I mean, they want to exercise this flex strategy they picked. They want the Mel to get super far ahead, although the Dark Harvest seems to be the third highest picked rune. I don't think it's actually terrible in this game, though. If you're figuring that the Xin Zhao, Diana, Riven are going to be constantly diving, doing most of the damage, they don't have a lot of pick potential, but they can just go in with coordination. You could expect Mel's damage to come in once some champs are already low. A lot of Mel's damage is more rapid. Not sure exactly how to describe it, but like her Q has multiple procs, her E even has multiple procs, so you can trigger it multiple times to potentially get that Dark Harvest proc. And then on the other side, mostly defensive options. Sneaky going for the Grasp, knowing that they can try and get procs on the end of these trades. Phase Rush in the mid lane. Obviously going to see Aerie out of Lux to try and help out Yunara as much as possible as they get the push in early. Going to be interesting to see if the level 2 advantage is gained by the MKC bot lane, try and start pushing them in early.
Yeah, unfortunately, using the Q in the backline minions, probably going to give that away for the time being. We could still get there. Just one more going to be claimed. See if it gets the push back in, as we're going to get a small little trade onto mid. All fire. Using that Lich Q to good use. Talk just having to tank this one out for the time being, as I'm interested to see how well this Orianna can kind of dominate in terms of that zoning. We've talked about it a lot during the draft. It's great for the team fight. It's also great in this kind of phase of the lane, especially when you're up against a melee champ. You can really force them away from a lot of the things they want to be looking for. Just like that. Easy QW. Start to put the health pressure on.
Yeah, the benefits for Diana in this lane come from the 2 stacks of her E. If you can get that first Lunar Rush down, as Mario Game's taking a ton of damage, got hit by a Slurple that they did not want to get hit by. But for the Orianna, you can get that first Q down, but then once your Q cooldown is over, Diana can go forward with the Lunar Rush and put damage onto you, and then E backwards towards a minion they've also hit with Q. Try to keep that E cooldown up as long as possible. And for Orianna, it also means that there's really no way to escape if the Diana gets ahead, as you get a rebuttal of the Slurple this time. Maybe that's why I was selected in the lane, but it's very difficult. Flash!
Okay, Korra, he thinks he has kill threat, and you know what? I think he's correct. Sneaky just gets absolutely destroyed. Flash Q engaged there from Korra. Absolutely nothing the Mundo could do about it. Did burn his ghost as well. Has TP to get back to the lane. It's not a game and not a lane lose it just yet, as we're going to get back to mid, as Tokelife is going aggressive onto Allfire as well. He's been ignited down, and Nat is here at the perfect time to turn up, audaciously charging forwards. One more auto would have done it. Tokelife just flashing over the wall in time. It would flash, wind becomes lightning. Even nicer from Nat is not a bug, and now they can look to take the 1 versus 2 onto this Jarvan. Jace trying to run for his life, going to turn it back around because the Lulu has arrived first. The bot push comes through, and that's a double kill over to Jace. Humongous roam up there by Tolt, flashing to get into heal range to make sure his Jarvan stays alive, and he turns the fight in the jungle.
Incredible job by the Lulu, and then you see the way that Ghoul is pulling away, but now Lulu's got to protect their own AD carry now.
That is an incredibly dangerous wave pull there from Ghoul Freak. Costs his barrier as well. Is able to claim the cannon at the very least, but not the healthiest of trades after all that.
Yeah, and with all the action, it is going to end up being a massive advantage for Jarvan. 2 kills. Already has a tunneler plus longsword. That means next time he runs into Xin Zhao, going to be winning again. Also is a double crab take for the Jarvan, which will put them ahead in experience, make this level 6 crab fight more favorable. And only big issue you're looking at on the map right now for Stun Gaming is really this bot lane wave state. They have got to get this pushed out so that Yunara can get a base off. And it was a tier start for Mel, so even on this little mana amount, they've made a ton of progress. So once they finally back, which looks like will be right now, going to be a decent buy for them. Yunara's got to push this wave out though.
Yeah, I'd imagine something like a Lost Chapter going to come through here from Superlative. Still has that TP to get back if he wants to come instantly, but he probably doesn't have to burn it in a situation like this, or he can go straight onto the wave itself, trying to bait out the base from Ghoul Freak. He's already gone. Should be able to get that guaranteed push in the bot side, but you do have to be careful because there is a Jace with a 12 gauge looking to make his way down to the bot side as well. He cleared from top to bot twice in a row here, counter to what Nat did going bot to top. Both started on their blue side, but of course opposite sides of the rift. In those camps are in opposite quadrants. As such, Jace is there a little bit late. Did have to take that second crab, so it's a little bit later in terms of this clear, but he is now around for the bot lane. Good vision play here by Mario by the looks of things, getting that ward in the tri-brush. Gonna lock eyes with Jace early on.
Yeah, but it was a great... Oh, never mind, move all.
Yeah, moving forward. No kill threat, really, onto Tokelife. I think if the Ignite's there, then we're talking a very different story, but the Orianna just happy to walk this one out. Has TP to get back to the lane, but he's playing very aggressive. Doesn't want to just use that summoner instantly. Wants to try and greed one more wave. This way might end up getting punished. The Ignite so close coming back off cooldown. A blast cone as well in here from Nat is not a bug, and that is just a guaranteed death for the Orianna. Tokelife trying to stick around one more wave, but it's one wave too many.
Probably could have shockwaved the lane.
We're doing more stuff. I'm sorry. You're not allowed to talk because we're getting Cataclysm in the bot lane too. Superlative flashing out of that one. Looks like he's going to be safe.
Yeah, a little bit overzealous there. You do get the flash, which is nice, but I think probably just should have saved your own flash. Just taken that as a small win. I want to go all the way back and talk about the Mel teleport, unless they walk up too far. Never mind, they're dead.
Yeah, they walked up too far. You kind of said unless they walk up too far, and then they walked up too far.
Yep.
They did the thing.
I mean, that's the cast curse. If you guys won't let me talk about the game, I'm just going to start cursing you. And that's how I'm going to get back at it. Because I was going to compliment Superlative. I thought that teleport was really good because Yunara has to back. She has to recall. So if you TP right to lane, you force another wave in, which means Yunara misses all of that XP and CS. You get a tower plate for yourself. Now, they do throw it away a little bit by overstaying there and not thinking that maybe Jarvan is just sitting in the bush. But on that mid lane play, Orianna had Shockwave. Could have cleared the wave extremely fast. I still think they probably would have died, but would have given the opportunity for a return kill. But they're just playing super safe. I understand why Allfire went for that big chunk. When you're playing the melee in this lane, any amount of time you can buy alone is really priceless. But at the same time, Tokelife going back in, that Lunar Rush.
Yeah, walking forward once more, and Allfire is happy to take these trades. He just gets the solo kill in mid. Tokelife not respecting these kill threat whatsoever. Again, dies with Shockwave up, and again, it feels like Allfire is now just absolutely chilling in this lane, right? Before, I wouldn't say the lane was guaranteed to be won. Now, I think it just is. There's nothing that the Orianna can do, at least for a little bit of time, before she can really get back into it in terms of items.
Yeah, I was believing at first that this player was just an ult account for the main mid laner of the team, but this is actually a substitute, and their hashtag is Diana. So it's all fire hashtag Diana. It's also not even like their most played. It's like last year they were 8-3 on it in solo queue. They played over 400 games, only played it 11 times. This year they haven't played it at all. So maybe just years past experience with the Diana, but if it's in your hashtag, I expect you to be pretty good at it.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't really matter your previous knowledge when you're at this phase of the game. Right now, you've already got that 2-kill advantage over your opposition. A very solid place in your game. You can really start to bully this Orianna now. Even though you're the melee, she should be the one bullying you. Especially with this much jungle presence, courtesy of the Zinzao. Another 3-point strike, another win becomes lightning. Another kill potentially coming through here, but this is very deep instead. From that is not a bug, barely surviving with one more turret shot raining on his back. Able to walk away from this one, still standing. And it's Allfire committing a flash to get a third kill in this game, a fourth death in the game for Talklife.
Yeah, Allfire was trying to wait out the shockwave so that they could lunar rush forward. It did take some time, did have to burn the flash as you mentioned, but worth it for another kill, and more importantly, another wave of CS denied into the turret. There's a 1-level advantage at the moment for Diana. They're both about to tick up, so it will persist a 1-level advantage even when Ori now has gotten level 8. As soon as Diana arrives, she will get level 9. And in the bottom lane, curiously enough, I'm going to chalk this up to probably not a lot of mages played. When you have a tier of the goddess, you really don't want to go for that full Archangel staff first. You want to try and go for a different Lost Chapter item. I personally like Ludens if you're really far ahead on Mel, because you can push that advantage with a ton of damage, or the Blackfire Torch is the more typical route where you're able to get extra AP just by hitting people. But instead, builds the Archangels won't be as useful for quite some time, but at least we know what item they're going for, certainly, as Kraken Slayer is on the way. As Sneaky also starting to do much better in this top lane, obviously way behind in CS, but staying even in H or XP and hasn't had another death, but I may have spoken too soon.
Yeah, well, he does have maximum dosage. He might be able to turn this one around. No ignite on Takara at this time, so able to hang around at least this time around. With Korra as well burning the ulti in the river play, meant that he was able to take that quite aggressive trade. I think the real difference between what we've seen in top and what we've seen in mid is the fact that the one death happened, the TP came back, and then Sneaky was able to stabilize, right? When it happened to Talklife, it was one death, followed by another, now it's followed by a couple of extra on top. He's let that kind of early game snowball a little bit out of his own hands, and now he's really up against it, right? Allfire is absolutely disgusting. Sneaky barely missing out on that kill. He's going to feel almost hard done by. That was way too close. Correct. Playing right on the edge.
Also, I think we missed a solo kill top. I think Mundo might have got a kill back.
He definitely got a kill back. It says 1-1.
But I don't... am I going
win.
crazy, or did we didn't see that?
I didn't see it.
Okay, I want to make sure. I am prone to missing those things, but I think that when I said that he was doing much better, it turns out I was even more correct than I thought. Yeah, I was even more correct than I had thought when I said it. Because now, doesn't even have any armor yet, so once this Heartsteel is complete, so many belts, got belts on belts on belts, easily changing the matchup. And Axiom Arc is the rush for the Lulus.
Oh my god, we're doing about 3v3. Polymorph already used. Nice wave here to go even deeper. Superlative getting dunked on right now, but it's the 1v2 for both junglers that Jace is going to end up winning first. I say Jace is playing Jarvan. It's a little bit confusing, but that is not a bug. It's not too confusing because he's already in the grave. And we're also getting a random proxy on the top side. Love to see that. 2-0, at least, for SGE as they look to push that Nami even further away. Sneaking out up against it with Korax. Doesn't get over the wall with the Q3, but he's not able to catch his wave because he tried to kill the Riven that was proxying. Going to go forward and get stunned up by the Riven W. Going to go chase even further. A cleaver to the face is going to send the Riven running, but another wave is going to fall to the tower in the meantime.
It was just a really well done bot play by SGE. They know that they win that 3v3 regardless, so they don't shy away from it even when they see Nat is not a bug on the way. Also, good job from Jace with a 12 gauge for holding the Cataclysm until the
Oh my god, hello Allfire, flying forwards this time around, very close to getting to kill the Ignite! Gonna tick Toke Life down once more. 5th death in the game. The Storm Surge Ignite just barely enough to get rid of the Orianna this time round. Going aggressive itemization too. The Luden's Echo not providing any sort of resist, any sort of mitigation to what this Diana is doing already. And Allfire happy to capitalize once more. His 4th kill of the game, even in the 1 versus 2. The Jarvan this time round unable to turn the tides.
Yeah, I think probably Merc Treads should have come in by now, or at least a Negatron Cloak, or Null Magic Mantle, I should say, for this matchup. I mean, Null Magic Mantle in Diana's pocket, plus an 8-stack Dart Seal, which is pretty scary. Only real positive you can find in this matchup is that Orianna has kept ahead in CS, trying to mitigate the kill gold they've given over as much as possible. This is going to be a 4v4 with teleport coming in. No teleport available for Riven, so it'll be a 5v4.
Yeah, top lane quest, I'm going to have to assume not quite completed just yet, though it should be around that timer where it is just about done, but they TP back to top lane. That's where they don't have TP. I can see the I was looking in the top right, looking for it, but it's actually in the bottom of our screen telling us precisely why Korax can't turn up. That's going to send Monkeys absolutely flying away in retreat. They recognize the numbers disadvantage. They're just going to play for the lanes instead, and Korax are doing a pretty good job of that already.
I think that was a really well done play from SGE because they don't overcommit for a fight. They used the teleport so that they could get the dragon. And once they got the dragon, they didn't feel like they needed to force a fight on the 4v5. They knew exactly why they did it, and they got exactly what they wanted for it. Riven's already going to be pushing that top wave in, or freezing it and denying the Mundo, so him going down there really doesn't change how the top lane is going to play out. As you see, Riven is...
Hold on, all fire. Maybe in a bit of danger here, but maybe it's Toke Life the one that's in danger. As Sneaky is in a 1 versus 2, but he's not actually any threat because he's Dr. Mundo. He presses R and he's absolutely fine. Mid laners barely hanging on to life, each of them down at about 300 HP. Allfire, though, has flash advantage in this lane, and that means Toke Life has to be playing it incredibly carefully right now. I'm not sure he's showing the prerequisite respect, but the orb is so close to doing the damage itself. Allfire going to take the kill. He's going to take the death as well for his trouble, so a small present going back over to Toke Life, but not even worth a shutdown right now because of the Drakes, as well as the gold lead, courtesy of the rest of the lanes. Unfortunately for the Orianna, that would have been useful to get him back into the game, but the kill, very useful all the same.
Yep, and Diana used Flash to get that kill, getting back in range, so not entirely worth it. As now we see a big shift coming towards this top side.
How is that Jarvan up there? He's basically coming from Krugs. Nat is not a bug, is caught in between a rock and a hard place. The hard place being Sneaky with a pretty hard cleaver to the face, and that catches the bug, splats him against the rock, I guess. We want to continue that analogy. Mundo takes the kill, 2nd kill for him. As he looks to go, I'm assuming towards the Warmogs first. This looks like an old school push build at this point. He's choosing to go towards everyone else. Getting those first items online, he's going to be one of the last in the game to do so, but he's not going to care. He's already got 3 Giants belts. He's absolutely fine.
Yeah, those might as well be completed items for Mundo. It's like Mundo, Sejuani, Skarner. That's a completed item. And other than this mid lane that has got hard countered, I'm very impressed with the play and decision making from SGE. Even that little bot 3v3 we saw, Lulu just walks back, and as soon as Xin Zhao goes in, they don't wait for them to be low health as Nami gets their flash burned. Just immediately, the Lulu used Wild Growth, and then Ghoul Freak knew that they could just stand and fire onto the Xin Zhao, and there was no threat. And then after that, once that TP came down for Mundo, Riven went to proxy instead of just taking that turret, and that allowed SGE to get first turret. So really good macro plays being made across the map, and Riven's going to have to jump over this wall if they want to get away, but Mundo's still running.
Yeah, still running. Maximum dosage once more. Ghost as well used during this play. Korax still has flash. No proper threat on him here, but Sneaky wants to make sure it's forced away if he can get it, but he's not allowed to. And even with Tolt roaming up to the top side, unable to help him out this time, unable to pop that key summoner, and as a result, I think Korax definitely the happier of the two after a trade such as that. Very aggressive in this lane is the Riven. You kind of have to be at all times. He just keeps putting the pressure on and not letting this Mundo split push whatsoever. He's just getting completely pushed under right now because all the proxy has been going on.
Yeah, but I feel like this decision right now is a bit of a mistake opening back top lane. I feel like Diana should have gone top and had Riven go bottom. Could have gotten another tower into Riven's pockets, whereas Diana is already well fed. And Sneaky did a very good thing and let the wave come all the way back down towards his turret kind of forcing Korra to always be overextended if they want to be in this lane, and we could see the consequences of that as Jarvan is coming up, but tons of vision available and so much mobility on Riven. So if they commit here...
but not enough vision to work out where the Jace with the 12 gauge is. Great timing for the Lulu to be there as well. A wild growth onto Sneaky. It's going to send Corax flying away this time. The Mega Blast Cone sends Sneaky flying even further. Rift Herald summoned towards mid while all these people are towards top side. That's going to be the J4 picking up the kill against the Riven, but they're just using that as a split push bait. 4 players in towards mid are going to be the main prong of this attack. Going to send the Rift Herald charging into that tier 2 after already claiming the first. They're going to get 4 plates on it as well, looking for the 5th. I'm not sure if it's quite going to fall down as a result of this push, but great damage dealt onto the mid lane there by the Monkeys, but it comes at quite a heavy cost, right? Their Riven did burn the flash, used the Ignite as well, either recently or during that play. It's going to struggle to get back into the lane properly now. Might have TP when they're back up, or we might just look for a fight in mid randomly as well, because apparently these guys just want to fight 4v4.
Yeah, you got 8 seconds until the dragon spawns. They want to get this push right away. Teleport available for Sneaky. I don't think they should be resetting here. I think you hit this turret and then just look to teleport into this dragon fight because you'll win that 5v5. 5 seconds until Riven's teleport comes active. Mundo has gotten back to base, but they're going to have to teleport if they want to get here fully in time. The flag is giving vision in the banana brush. This is an awkward angle.
Okay, TPs. Everyone flying in. Superlative to the bot lane. He's going to push out that way first. Monkeys want to play this one a bit slow. Korax TP's into the pit. He's happy to just hop over the wall and push the SG further away. And honestly, it looks like SG happy to be pushed away right now. Looks like the Jarvan can try and find a steal if it's there, but instead the engage is going to come through way faster from the Monkeys. The Lulu obliterated. Tolt did not have a chance. Korak into the backline, barely surviving for the longest time, finally falling down as Bubble's going to connect onto 2. Nice one there from Mario, but it's not enough to save his Diana, and now the Mel is completely overrun. Sneaky already just eating the backline for breakfast, and the Jarvan having a field day. It's a 4-for-1 overall as it's just Tolt for the rest of the map falling down. Monkeys barely hanging on right now, and the mid turret is also focused during that play. They're not going to get the Drake. It's going to be Soul Point on top of everything else. The game feels like it's falling apart right now.
Oh, they didn't even get the dragon. They turned and instantly annihilated Tolt, which is a good play, but they just weren't able to make anything happen past that point. Some unfortunate events. I mean, Togue Life used their shockwave. I don't know what they used it on, but it wasn't when everyone was grouped up. And then Xin Zhao found an angle onto Ghoul Freak. I don't know if they have the damage to actually blow the Yunara up, but it didn't matter because mid-audacious charge, Jarvan flagged and dragged through them and canceled it, which just left them kind of standing in the middle of the team for Yunara to take down. This 3-man, I mean, it is 4-man too. No shade on the support. Just because you're not doing damage doesn't mean you're not important. The peeling for this Yunara has been incredible all game, and IE will be coming in soon. It's just really hard, like you said, it's hard to find where the angle is going to be for Monkeys Chopped, considering there's a 4-1-3 Mundo and a 6-0-5 Jarvan who's about to start building tank.
Yeah, and that is the issue, right? They are so incredibly tanky on SGE, and you haven't drafted to get rid of tanks. You've drafted to destroy some squishies if they turn up, right? Allfire, he'd be happy if he finds Ghoul Freak in a dark alley someplace, because he will destroy him in about 0.3 seconds. We just saw with Tolt in the previous fight. That Lulu barely existed, but it doesn't matter, because the front line right now for SGE is so incredibly fed, and they are so incredibly tanky. Already at 2 items for the J4. Looking towards a third going, that might even be a Hollow Radiance, I'll be honest. He's going a little bit crazy. Sneaky's also going crazy in the bot side. Korax finds himself almost outscaled already by the Mundo. 1 item each, barely able to get to the Blast Cone, going to send him to the other side of the Rift. That's going to be his escape route this time, but that's more luck than skill, I'd have to say. The Riven barely escaping once more, and Sneaky really starting to dominate that lane as well now. On top of everything else, I mean, how do you get through this front line? Is it on the Mel?
I don't know. Well, if it is the Mel, you're not going to be doing it with Cosmic Drive, I'll tell you that much. Would I like to see maybe a Crypt Bloom, because you're not really the main carry? Would I like to see maybe a Leandri's Torment, considering you're playing against a Mundo? But they want the move speed, they want the cooldown, which, alright, they've got some defensive stats. Sneaky just fully winning this matchup now, and top lane turret going down means they're winning on all sides of the map. I mean, Riven can keep chasing, but the only thing that's happening right now in this matchup is she's missing more and more experience in the lane.
And the other thing that's happening is she's running closer and closer to the friends of Sneaky. Tokelife walks up from mid, shows a little bit of presence, and sends Korok flying away once more. These blast cones, always fun to watch, as they're going to agree to disagree this time around on who has the better time in this lane. But Korok, I think he knows who has the better time in this lane. It's not him. He's going to get run down once more. Sneaky trying to go towards a Spirit Visage instead of the Heartsteel. Early in his build path. I think he's just kind of ignoring that at this point. Happy to have the Warmogs, happy to just keep on healing, keep on sustaining. He doesn't need to base basically ever unless he has that item spike, and he can just keep putting the pressure on these turrets as he's doing. Demolish once more, going to come through as he's going to take the tier 2 right in his opponent's face. And now Korok has a choice. Does he go in once more and take a butt ton of damage? Or does he try and retreat, just give it up once more? Let's see what happens on the top side instead. That seems way more interesting. Allfire, 1v4. What are you sending on there, buddy?
I think maybe they knew that they were dead and just figured I have to go in, but I don't really think you had to do that. I think you could have waited, as looked like the bottom lane and Xinjiao were in the area. I actually don't hate skipping over the Heartsteel for Dr. Mundo here. If you're not in a matchup where you're going to be able to consistently hit, it's hard to get, and Riven's just so slippery, she can get out of the way so quick. If you're in a tank v tank, you should really always get it first, but otherwise, I don't hate the luck. What the hell is Tolt doing? I was hoping they'd stop griefing by the time I stopped talking, but they really just want to stick in that pit.
Yeah, well, if there's one thing that they could do that would give Monkeys a way back into this game pretty now quick, it would be giving over Baron for free. It looks like they're going to peel off and stop that from being the case, but they do give over a kill at any rate. Tolt just tanking up the Baron damage, getting absolutely shredded, and then one wind becomes lightning. And did Tolt become wind or lightning? I can't even work that out. He just kind of died.
I think if a spirit is more wind, so they just became a dust in the wind, as Kansas had sang. And looking at some of these other itemizations just coming in now, I think it's also going to be a Shadow Flame for Superlative, as it was for Allfire. Again, items that are not going to help you into Mundo Jarvan. These are champs that you'd be unbelievably fortunate to get low enough for that item to have maximum effect, as 10 seconds until the Chemtake Dragon spawns. Monkeys do have a better
Probably
position.
such a painful soul.
But I mean, this mid lane is going to go down so quickly if Yunara goes over and hits it, and it's not like Jarvan has few ways to get into the pit. It will be a 5v5. That's Mel's teleport coming down.
Yeah, and Superlative, he doesn't realize it, but he's TPing straight into the front line here. And Sneaky, happy to just tank up whatever comes his way. His TP shield from top lane quest still hasn't even been burnt through just yet. This guy is absolutely ginormous, and there's no way through. The double Storm Surge attempted here by the Monkeys, as you pointed out, it's incredibly optimistic, I think, especially when Sneaky's just standing this far forward, and you're barely even doing any chip damage to him. One cleaver is already back up at a decent amount of HP. Starting to take a little bit now, as the flank going to come through from Korra here at the same time. Cloudfreak has to be the one that's actually quite careful, and Sneaky's just going to send it on the front line. Allfire is in danger. Everyone is in danger when this Mundo is in town. Ukulele's to the face, going to go a little bit wide as Allfire goes sending, but he can't even get the Moonfall just in time. Sneaky now just going to absolutely run them over. Nat is not a bug, surely the first to go down. The Jarvan going to fly forwards, and that is the jungler taken out of the fight. Superlative forced to flash away from this Cataclysm. Another Ukulele hits once more, and that's just a freebie. Mario Games, he's going to try and run, but his bubble only gets rid of the spell shield that comes straight back to Sneaky. Look how convenient that is. Chemtech Stole now claimed, and SGE, it's their game to lose.
Korra tried to flank on the other side, but with Wild Growth down, I'm going to assume that the strategy just worked again. Someone dives onto Ghoul Freak, they get Wild Growth, and then the Yunara just auto-attacks them to death with this incredible itemization. I mean, it's an impossible team fight to win. When Sneaky is doing that much work and no one else is even committing to anything, like, they're still trying to decide, do we just start hitting the dragon? Do we turn around and kill the Riven? And Sneaky's just like, if they go in on me, we can just kill them. I like the angle Allfire found of Lunar rushing through Mundo to find the 4-man, but if you die before the ulti even goes off, then it's, not as good. So it was a cool look, just didn't really work. And now Baron's up again, so MKC, with the little gold they gained because they didn't get any kills, they didn't get the dragon, they gave over gold. Now they have to enter back onto the map, try and find some sort of push so that they can enter into the dragon pit. Otherwise, I mean, they're just forfeiting the game.
Yeah, well, there's not much they can do to really get there, though, as well, especially with mid in here being taken in the previous plays. It's just so interesting to watch a frontline Mundo be almost like a poke. He's the poke champion that's also the frontline. Incredibly odd to watch, but incredibly effective in a fight, such as we just saw. Able to win our perma group with his team. 3 Heartsteel stacks if he's able to just clobber onto Korax as he is trying to do once more. Bubble going to stun him up this time. Going to get him in the prison for about a second. And Korax, I mean, they do a little bit of damage, but it's just nowhere near enough, right? Tolt's there with shields. He's there to just ukulele himself back up to full HP. What do you do to get rid of Sneaky? You need itemization that gets rid of tanks. You need a champion like an ADC to get through a tank. You don't have that in a game like this. And now you're up against insane healing Spirit Visage into double AP Mundo. What can you do?
Yeah, and even the Black Cleaver for Xin Zhao, I mean, that's cool for him, but you've only got one other AD champ on your entire team that's going to take advantage of that. And Sneaky's very forward, hasn't popped the maximum dosage yet.
Yeah, I mean, his Spirit Visage is going to give him so much healing when he eventually does. There it goes, back up to full HP, all fire deleted once more, and this is just the fight to end the fight, I think. Ghoulfire going to go flying it forwards, going to get the third onto Superlative, as it's been a game of anything but for the Mel, unfortunately. 0-5-0 for him. Had a fine lane phase at a great lane position early on, but unable to capitalize. The rest of the map completely capitulates, and now Monkeys down already 1-0 in this lower bracket game. One more loss and they are out of the tournament. They had to win the next one and the one afterwards to stick around. SG one win away from progressing. We'll see what happens when we get into game 2 after this. Welcome back to game number 2's draft here. Stun Gaming Eclipse with a dominant blue side performance in game 1. Looking to stick around there as Monkeys Chopped choose to stay on the red side by the looks of things. Getting into this draft here, Monkeys have a lot they need to try and work on. I don't really know where they need to start, but I think anything would be a start over how that game kind of petered out for them. Their early lanes, I will say, were very promising, but it felt like the plays around those early lanes were maybe less so. Need to get that jungler a little bit more involved when you have such early strength in your favor now. It has to start again from scratch. You have to get those early advantages, and now you even have to build on them more than you tried to in game 1. As we get into things here, what do you want to see changed from Monkeys?
I would have liked to see the side of the map that they chose change, but they are sticking to the red side. Hopefully they can take better advantage of some of these counter picks. I also think getting a more traditional bot lane will be a huge step forward. Looking at Superlative's champs, I think leaving up the Jinx is fine. Even with the Sivir being banned, Kog'Maw has risen in play very much. Also, Ashe, Seraphine obviously has exploded in priority. So they could do this. They could ban the Jinx and look for Ashe, Seraphine themselves. I don't see a lot of Seraphine for Mario games, but it isn't the most difficult champ in the world to play. I'd also like to see them get a bit more of a synergistic mid lane pick. Obviously, Diana, it's the guys got Diana in their hashtag, but that champ's ability to really link up with the rest of their team and provide value into the mid and late game falls off very heavily, and we saw that in game 1.
Yeah, we absolutely did. I think there's definitely something to focus on. Is while they had such strong early lanes, they're kind of meant to, right? Riven in a counter pick matchup. They had Diana early on. We talked about potential zoning. It wasn't an issue at all. The one trick into the Orianna was just comfortable from start to finish. As we're going to get a Varus taken B1 here by Stun Gaming Eclipse. Not messing about at all. Instantly into that, and it's going to be what looks to be a pretty fast response from Superlative. Listening to what you wanted, they are taking an ADC. Unless this is flex top, in which case then I hate myself.
Also, Caitlyn Nico, very good into Varus. Nico would be a takeaway on the Varus side. This champ has taken a bit of a hit win rate wise, the Varus that is, on recent patches, but still one of the best AD carries in the game in organized 5v5 play. Caitlyn has seen a rise in prio, which I agree with, and Karma, another champ that pairs great with Caitlyn. You push the lane so easily, you can join these scuttle crab fights, these dragon fights. Once you get out of the bot lane with quests unlocked, Caitlyn can perma push mid wave in from relative safety. Great pickups now, and it gives them a much stronger identity out of their bot lane than what we had early game. It also sets them up well to win this matchup. I think, champs like Nico now are what they're going to have to go towards. Soraka could help throughout the game, but it is going to mean you forfeit the push for the early period.
Yeah, out of left field pick there, at least from where I'm sat. I haven't seen much, if any, Soraka this year. It's kind of fallen out of favor all over the place in recent times, but an interesting decision here to try and heal through the worst of it, as we are, of course, pre-Karma nerf that is coming through tomorrow onto live servers, so still incredibly annoying man tree to worry about, but if you go Lethality Varus, I have to say, Serpent's Fang isn't too far out the build path.
Yeah, and I can't tell you how happy I am to see just standard, good meta junglers. The team I play on, our jungler plays nothing standard. I'm talking Singed, I'm talking Mordekaiser, I'm talking like the craziest stuff you've ever heard jungle, and he makes it work. But I'm just happy to see these regular AD bruisers, and based on what I saw last game with the Jarvan, I'm happy to see this Wukong very strong. Volibear is a good matchup into the Wukong. I don't like it in terms of like the whole 5v5 how it works, but I think Volibear gives you other strengths. They liked their flexes last game, and now you can leave up a very strong champ like Mbessa and flex the Volibear up into it. That is a terrible matchup for Mbessa. So it also provides you some safety going into phase 2 of the draft.
Yeah, I think interesting to see how they want to go here. That early flex coming through. I don't see many Volibear games on either the top nor the jungle, so bit of mystery to us. Yeah, as it looks like Nat has a few. And then, I mean, Korax, he's played way too much ADC this year to have a realistic idea of his actual champ pool in the top lane. It's all been outcolored by the noise, I guess, of all his other picks. So, interesting to see what Monkey's going to go with here. Is he going to get some secondary bans coming through? Of course, the Swain going to be taken away here by Stun Gaming Eclipse. About the one thing you can see of Allfire's champ pool is that he has played Swain. He has Diana as Hash. Diana, of course, taken away by the Fearless of it all. This time taking away the Swain as well. It's going to be Ari and Victor taken away by Monkeys as well.
Yeah, and I like these mid focuses against Togue Life. We were talking in the break, we'd like to see them play something that they're either more comfortable on or that can facilitate for their team in an easier way. I think so far what Monkeys Chopped have would set up pretty well for the Galio pick that we talked about, especially if Monkeys Chopped continue to index into this dive composition. I think because you have a sub mid and because their champ pool is a bit pinched just in nature, we should try and see a top lane pick here. I know that Riven was what we saw last game, and that would tell you that they like to play a bit more aggressive, but I feel like just Ornn right here would do really well, give you plenty of engage, and frontline works really well with the Volibear, can get enchanted well by Karma, give big items and help you scale well, and then you leave your mid laner for counter pick. Never mind, they're gonna go with what?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but it's very difficult to persuade a top laner to do that, right? I think a lot of the time it's we chose red side. I want my counter pick, please, and they get to keep this flex open for a little bit longer. Means that whatever stun gaming take into the top side, you have to bear in mind that the Volibear could end up there, right? You have to at least have it in your back pocket of like, okay, we do have to worry about this potentially, but we're going to hope for our sake that we can take something a bit more dependable, as
Ooh.
it's going to be some scaling here chosen by Stunned Gaming Eclipse. An interesting decision to go with the ASOL. That is comfort for Toke Life. After Izari, that is the most played of the year, but it's only at 4 games. It feels like he chooses it when he's in a happy matchup. Is quite a happy enough matchup for the ASOL? He says yes.
Yeah, you can stay pretty far back. It's not a bad matchup at all. I was thinking that this could be an okay game for the Akali we talked about, because you really, if Hui doesn't have that like EQ up, you really have carte blanche to go in. And now Stun Gaming take the Ornn. That's a fine matchup into Volibear. Only thing that concerns me is, does Korra play Gwen? Because if they do, this is a very scary matchup, and there isn't much on Stunned Gaming that could deal with it. Bit of a Trundle Singed decision going on here. My brain is broken from the Singed jungle I have to deal with. So now we really don't know where either of these champs go. I feel like it could be.
I would imagine
Either
that's Trundle into
or.
the Ornn.
Yeah,
I
but
think
also
it feels like the stats
Trundle
stealer, right? You
jungle.
may as well.
Yeah, but Trundle jungle is really good into Wukong.
Hmm.
So we'll have to wait and see. But once again, I think if you just look at team composition, Stunned Gaming have a clear identity once again. They have a scaling option in their mid lane. They have, very good front line with an enchanter support. And then Monkeys Chopped, this game, they're kind of doing the opposite. They don't really want to engage. They kind of want to go backwards with the Hui Caitlyn, set down your traps, let Hui throw the artillery in, Karma throw the Qs. And then Volibear and Trundle are kind of just like standing there and maybe flanking, maybe frontlining, who knows, but they kind of seem a little out of place. And I talked about it in game 1, when your jungler is out of sync with the rest of what your team wants to do, it can be very disastrous.
Yeah, and I'm honestly looking at this Monkeys comp, and I'm trying to work out what they actually do want to do, right? We're looking at it as like, okay, so we've got Caitlyn Karma with a Hui. We got a lot of poke. We got a lot of split push as well, courtesy of the Trundle, which I'm going to tentatively say is top lane. I feel like the Volibear, I mean, both seem okay into the Wukong. If you meet him in the jungle early, then Trundle sounds amazing into the Wukong, but should be able to avoid that as the Monkey King. I think the sustain lane of split push against the Ornn, who's just going to end up wave clearing, sounds quite nice, but I feel like you can just never team fight as this comp on monkeys, right? You have to find a way to get your Volibear into the game through other revenues beyond just standing as a pillar in the front line while Caitlyn and Hui try and poke.
Yeah. And even if you are successful with that poke identity, Stun Gaming has a Soraka. So how much
Oh,
of that
yeah.
is actually going to stick? I don't know. Ornn also can just build a Warmogs again. It's not the typical build path, but it certainly isn't a terrible option
I don't
from
mind its
Ornn.
Trundle too.
Yeah,
Have less
so
resist to steal away.
it's a decent matchup there. I am hopeful, if you're a Monkey's Chop fan, that they can find some good angles, some good plays on vision to find numbers advantages. Otherwise, we haven't even talked about how good of a lethality Varus game this is, because Trundle's not building a ton of HP. They're stealing most of theirs. Volibear is probably going to go for some weird damage items first, and then you've got Caitlyn Karma Hui. So Varus is going to have a very easy time putting down a ton of damage. So I think Stun Gaming ended up getting exactly what they wanted.
I think that is a near on guarantee, and as we said earlier in the draft as well, Serpent's Fang value through the roof. Your Volibear shields, your Hui shields, your Karma shields, most importantly, getting through all of those with a couple of piercing arrows sounds amazing for this Varus, leaning him even more towards that lethality build. And you don't even need to be considering, oh, do we have enough late game damage? Yeah, we do. We got an ASOL. I think Sun Gaming have everything it could possibly want here. Monkey's right up against it. Uh, how do you see monkeys actually getting a win here? That's my question, because I don't see it.
Someone gets super fed and they just kind of play around it. I think this bot lane, in all honesty, I think this bot lane could be pretty bad for Stunned Gaming. I feel like the Caitlyn Karma is going to consistently push them in. And, if they can get their jungler to come down for a dive early, that could start a snowball, but that takes a good amount of coordination, and Wukong really just has to show up and they can stop that opportunity. So I feel like Monkey's Chop's real only win condition is going to come through this bottom lane.
Well, we'll have to see if they can play through it, or is Stun Gaming going to be able to hold on and outscale? Because it feels like that is almost a foregone conclusion with the ASOL. They'll be able to do precisely that. The poke comp into Soraka doesn't sound fun. We'll see if Monkey's Chops are able to pull it off after a short little break. We'll be back from game 2 in just a few. Welcome back, everyone, to Game 2 of the series between SGE and Monkeys Chopped. Speaking of Chopped, I have to say this draft, not my favorite from the Monkeys. I feel like definitely outplayed in this phase of the game, but we'll have to see what they can do when they bring things to the Rift, as that is where they will do the real talking of it all this time around, as we hope for their sake they'll put up a little bit more of a fight than we saw in Game 1, where SGE took it without all too much stress.
Yeah, now they have, in my opinion, even more tools than they did last game. They were relying mostly on Jarvan as their complete engage and Mundo to just kind of like walk at them. But now, Sneaky has a champion that can also just walk at them and fully engage a team fight by themselves. So
He can do it all himself.
yeah, I mean, it's Ornn. He's insert all of the champion classes here, because I don't remember how many there were for the meme.
Yeah, he is everything. My god, that trade, by the way. Do you see that? Mario's already just... Mario's supposed to be at pot instantly. That was disgusting.
Yeah, and they are continuing to take damage, but you do see how much pressure these two impose on the lane.
Yeah, I mean, going both ways. Double heal invested for one apiece, as well as the barrier early out there from Ghost Freak. Everyone exchanging summoners, everyone exchanging HP. The only one still healthy for now is going to be Tult. He's going to exchange some of that once he hits level 2. We'd expect to give Cloud Freak a little bit of leeway in this lane. Very aggressive on both sides. The pots being used at a rate of knots. The level 2 hit there as Mario trying to match Q forward, trying to find as much as he can onto Ghoul Freak, who has had to burn a whole lot of mana early on, at least, from the Monkey's point of view. Even though the trade didn't necessarily go the way they wanted, Tavares without much mana, so he can't do much else.
Yeah, we're going to get into this holding pattern pretty frequently. Fortunately for SGE, Soraka wasn't really dinged much in that early fight, so they're going to be able to heal Varus up quite well. As this looks familiar. Sneaky's losing this top lane very early, but something tells me he's going to rebound just fine, as Cora, despite not having the most experience in the top lane, seems to be able to consider... Wow, it was so terrible.
Oh my god, hello. Ghost Ignite early on. Sneaky gonna respect the hell out of that one, just walks away. I think, unfortunately, it's already turned into a bit of a freeze against him here. The wave is not in a great place. There's a bunch more of his minions than there are there for Korak. So going aggressive on the trades, working out very well for him so far. Both the top lane is kind of wishing for a bit more CS, but Sneaky's just kind of been forced back with Korak standing between his minions, between Sneaky's minions rather, and where the wave was properly standing. There's a nice pillar to interrupt that build as well. Looking, I'd imagine, for an early cloth armor, not allowed this time around.
Yeah, and the one lane we really haven't had any eyes on this game is mid lane, because it's not going as horrific as it did in game 1, even giving Wukong a chance to sneak over here, and now we could see an all-in.
Nice fear there to stop the damage coming through from Toke Life. He's going to have to stop his flight before it even properly got started. Bot Crab going over to Nats. That means that the Jace playing Wukong's going to be able to take the top side. 1-for-1 instead of a 2-for-0 on those crabs this time around. There's another bonk up, another grass proc at least here, courtesy of Sneaky. And Korak is just going to get deleted by minions. Under his turret without TP, and he just got killed by an Ornn at level 4. That was like the lane that was meant to do well for them, as it's in flash away in bot as well. Superlative just needs a ward in the bush, but he can't escape at all. The ward in the bush goes the way of Ghoul Freak, and he gets the kill. Mario might be able to get the kill back onto Tult. That was very close actually to coming through for him. Not able to just about get that kill back. How has this gone so badly this early?
I mean, there was a lot of misfortune and a lot of misplay. That top fight, all the things you mentioned about getting killed by the Ornn at that point in the game, but Ornn also did it without using his W or Brittle. He just kind of...
Yeah, he didn't really try, he just kind of did it.
Yeah, and then in the bot lane, the skirmish was looking okay, and I thought that at least Caitlyn was going to be able to get away, but she backstepped into a Soraka Q, which allowed Soraka to heal up Varus enough that he could go forward and keep trading, and still almost died for it in the end, as double tiers coming in for the bot lane. Soraka's going to have to go for Seraphs, because... Oh, this is another kill.
Has he done it again? Oh my god. Ooh. Yeah, the turret showed the difference that time, I'd have to say, but I think without it, Sneaky may have still won that, honestly. Ornn W, even though it's getting nerfed tomorrow, it's not nerfed yet. and the brittle procs every time just hurt a ton.
And it's also not a nerf that's extremely
much.
big. Yeah, and I'm just checking now. Affecting or ally? No, that's not what I want. I need the Delia. I'm trying to see if the fully stacked tier support item
The diadem.
actually, yeah, diadem, if that works on heals or only on shields. Because from what I remember,
imagine it would work on heal, but if it doesn't, then that's a little bit awkward, as we're going to get a rundown in the bot side to try and turn things around in the Monkey's favour. Cloud Freak goes on a little walk, and Mario going to be the one tethering it in place. Going to try and trade this out 1-for-1 at the very least before he goes out finally to Superlative, who's also got that lethal tempo stacked up now, trying to get his way onto the Wukong as well. He's just going to dash away back to his turret, going to play things safe. A nice kill, nice gank timer there from Nat, but you do have to be careful because the ASOL's looking. When Tuck Life is in the bot lane, bad things could be happening. Vision not spotted just yet. Tult walks forward, trying to bait this play forward. He does precisely that. It's the Karma that's going to go first, actually, by the looks of things. Going to die to the burn damage on the black hole. Huge kill there for Tuck Life as he gets the second onto the volley bear as well. And we're just saying, congratulations on a positive play. They end up losing one in the long run. Please don't die to the minions. Oh my god, that was too close.
oh, he's gonna die to subjugate. He has his ult out.
And deleted. Okay. Barely turning that on the round there was Karak. I'm not sure he can tank up this wave right now unless he has another Q to bonk a minion and eat its face off. Even then, not looking too healthy, but able to stick around, able to clear that wave, and able to get a kill back, most importantly, for himself.
Yeah, we had a bit of a slingshot go on there. I was wondering if that meant more control for MKC, but the only lane that ended up with a big advantage was top lane, or at least a bit of a rebound. Aurelion Sol getting this far ahead is pretty disastrous for Hui, especially considering that they're going for a Rylai's first. Not going to provide you a ton of damage, but Aurelion Sol's whole thing is that they just keep hitting you over and over and over again. So the amount of AP they have isn't really as important. It's the amount of time that they can afford to stand still and shoot an ability at you. And getting HP this early on a Giant's Belt will certainly provide it. Also consider that MKC got that good play bot lane, but they didn't get Dragon off of it. So no real permanent objective gained from that. And, you know, Jace with 12 gauge, only a matter of time before they make a move and find themselves another advantage as Korra continues to just fight over and over
Nice
again.
pillar. Gonna get deleted this time by the Ornn as Sneaky says, "You're not allowed a pillar. Get out of here." Able to force the Trundle back once more. Is not turning into that great of a matchup so far, I have to say. Korak has not convinced me of the Trundle into the Ornn as of yet, but I'm sure as the game gets going, it'll get a little bit worse for Sneaky, as the split push really is the main threat of this pick, but the early game seems to not be very fun at all, as this pillar to try and avoid the worst of this damage. You're getting brittled up early. The Forge God is just way too much, and when you don't have flash, you can't avoid any of it. Deleted once more under his turret once more. Mixed up tower and turret, that's on me. Ugh, I'm about as bamboozled as Korak is right now, I'll be honest.
Yeah, absolutely turning the matchup on its head from what we saw last game. But, I mean, it is actually pretty consistent, because Trundle got a solo kill, or Korra got a solo kill, and now Sneaky's gotten 3 kills. So, it was a different order, but same outcome. And now we're 8 minutes into the game. I'm taking a look at quest progressions. Varus over halfway through with theirs. Only persisting problem really for SGE is this bot lane continues to get pushed in. Even with the kill that was gained early from Ghoul Freak, it is still a gold advantage to the Caitlyn. Although a massive gold advantage for the Soraka. And I did check the Diadem of Songs. All that it takes is that you have healed or shielded a champion that is in combat, and you will start healing nearby champions. So,
yeah,
still a great item to get.
Not again. Not again. One more auto. Doesn't even count as an assist. Toklive turned his way up to the top side as it's a destruction in the bot lane too. Oh no, monkeys. I think this game is already over. Double kill for the Wukong as Jace with a 12 gauge gets in on the action. Sneaky with a solo, ruining his mid laner's roam, if I'm honest. That's kind of rude.
Yeah,
Toklive spent all that time getting up there. He's not allowed anything.
Yeah, he kind of griefed his mid laner, and I was pretty confused when you said that bot lane. You said, "Oh no, monkeys." I'm thinking, "Oh yes, monkeys." Wukong got in there, got a double kill. Monkey's doing great, just not the.
That monkey's doing well, yeah.
Yeah, the team with the moniker not doing as well, but the Monkey King doing fine. And speaking of doing fine,
who's doing fine here? Allfire does not look like he's fine, unless the Severing Bolt was maybe going to turn the tide. Unfortunately, not this time once more. Tokelife going to survive, able to just about escape from the Severing Bolt. Damage from the sky avoided, and now the free farm in mid lane continues. Those stacks getting faster and faster. That Rylai is going to really spike that as well, right? When you start getting the stacks from champions, it hurts.
absolutely. But that that pillar, it interrupted Ornn's dash into the wall, so it stopped the knockup. That was crazy, and almost crazy enough to distract me from this terrible thing that I'm about to say, which is that the monkeys chopped are the monkey that is like really upset that they don't put the bananas through the cage. As he's gonna die. Just let me finish this.
Yeah, the subjugate used, may be able to hold on actually. Subjugate is a lot. He's down 2 levels, but he has a Tiamat. Oh, he's dead. He's dead. Okay.
I even stopped talking. I was like, oh no, this is actually something where Rue has to come in. But he just got annihilated. And Volibear, you've got a Sheen Up Blasting one. I'm not sure you're a real champ yet.
I don't know. Volibear can stat check pretty efficiently, and he can also catch waves under the top turret, which appears to be what he's doing this time around. Gonna just catch that, make sure that Ornn doesn't get too much more. His Chains Corruption gonna land on the bot side. No follow-up though, since he'd already used the piercing arrow and the hail of arrows on the Caitlyn's head. It's going to be Mario instead walking forward, using his E to try and get as much speed as possible. Going to tether him as there's a flash in front to catch the ace in the hole. Nice one there from Tolt. And now there are 4 people in the bot lane. Good luck, guys. See you later. Thank you for the stacks, says Tokelife as he picks up another double. The roams down to bot lane have been very fruitful, even if top lane doesn't like him.
Yeah, it does really well when you have a mid laner that can roam so efficiently. So I guess we did get what we asked for when we said we want mid lane to be something that can facilitate. At least this can get out of the lane and affect the rest of the map.
And he's up in CS too.
Yeah, something tells me though that Varus is not a commonly played champ for Ghoul Freak. I don't think I've ever seen a Varus use all their basic abilities and then throw the ulti out. Just not.
It was a little bit unfortunate to watch, but not quite as unfortunate as this attempted proxy by Korak. He's got most of it. Just 1 caster and 1 melee left alive. So we'll take the positives where we could find them, but not the death that he was looking for there, trying to catch that wave between the turrets and look for a sneaky one with the Wukong freshly out of base, looking to go towards his top side. Nicely en route from there, Sneaky was also making his way back towards his own turret, looking to now push in even further. I think the only thing I can say as a positive right now for Monkey's Chop, they haven't lost a turret yet, but it feels like that's only a matter of time.
Yep, they're actually up in plates taken.
Nice.
So, you know, there are a couple things right now. I still, to finish my horrible thing from earlier that the gods tried to stop me from saying, but cannot.
There's a reason.
MKC Monkey is like the one that they're not letting the bananas go through the bars, and he's getting really pissed off. Whereas the SGE Monkey and Wukong is like the one that's at the dinner table, and it's like, whose toes are those? Who's that special guy? And he's getting really excited. And of course,
brittle, I believe, is the word of the day. Feels like Korak is incredibly brittle, as he's now 1-7 to start off this top lane. Something about counterpick top into Ornn not mattering at all because it's Ornn. I feel like is the main thing.
And also, it doesn't seem like
Cleanse, okay, Superlative going to get rid of that one as Tolt finds that there's a Volibear in the middle of his lane, but Jace is here as well with another Cyclone to go even deeper. Mario one shot, the flash auto is going to be nice there from Ghoul Freak. You can do it on any champion, you don't have to know all too much about anyone in specifics to be able to just go flash auto, but you do have to know about Varus to hit that kind of a Q. Nice piercing arrow there onto Superlative, of course. Doesn't quite have his flash up, so wasn't able to avoid it this time around, as Nat is not a bug, is going to get squashed once more, this time not in the top lane, instead in the bot lane with an arrow to the face, more than what I was expecting. I thought the star from the sky was going to splat him down, but instead able to flash out and then dies anyway.
Ghoul Freak, I apologize for the earlier comments about your Varus. The aim, the lineups are at least there, so definitely has some practice hitting.
Did he just twerk in his face?
He might have. Oh, that face is just.
Oh no.
That's also his quest TP, so that's a
Yeah, so
7
once
minute
every 7 minutes. That tells you how the game's gone, doesn't it? That tells you
yeah.
everything you need to know. Korik has accepted fate now. I believe it's what we've just found out there.
I hope Madge is watching. I think the administrator is gonna have a word with you later, but at least very fun gameplay to watch. I mean, looking across the map, some of these like little things, I keep getting distracted by Korra. Like you said, he picked this counter matchup, and he's been able to cancel Ornn's dash so many times that it's like really impressive. You think the pillar would work in Ornn's favor because it gives him something else to knock up, but he keeps canceling it as Wukong. I really don't think you can kill the Wukong here. I think he might just kind of like be up.
Yeah, it doesn't have Triforce, instead has a Sundered Skies. We're headed back to top lane because it's just a sad state of affairs consistently. Finally able to escape the turret range is Korra, as Sneaky already has called the Forge God. Nice knock up on the edge of the wall, and even with a Subjugate and a Chomp in the face, it should be Korra soon to fall then again. I'm not necessarily convinced because apparently this champion is incredibly unkillable when he wants to be. Sneaky gonna dash forwards with a Searing Charge. That will finish things off, and now he's gonna have a 1v1 with a bear. I think they're meant to be like friends or something in the lore. I honestly don't have a clue, but not friends this time. Instead, just going to get his face lightly ripped and then walk away.
Yeah, it's the problem with some of these Volibear builds, Dusk and Dawn, is you can do a great deal of damage to squishier champs, but against these tanks, even with the Navori Flicker Blade coming in second, you really struggle to deal with champs that have a lot of HP, unless you're having these long persistent fights. You can get multiple W's out, which I think just got buffed recently as well, as we have seen the lanes swap quests have been completed.
Are you really trying to do this? Yeah, okay. An ambitious Rift Herald attempt there, as it was the Drake timer, to be fair, for SGE. I think on Vision as well, spotted there was Jace, so trying to get across map, but when the Wukong's allowed to solo a Drake, it does mean that everyone else is able to turn up to the proper fight, and this time dealt with once more by everyone else. Gonna have to just ult over the wall. There was Nat, so everything right now going against Monkey's favor, right? They're down 8k gold. They have 2 kills. They no longer have the place advantage, so we can't even claim that one. They do have grubs, but for grubs to be useful, you have to hit the turret every now and again. And beyond the plates they've already got, it's going to be difficult to get many more.
I do like what Volibear is doing now. Less ambitious than trying to cross-map the objective, but now just hovering your mid laner so that they can get some gold in their pocket is well done. But Toglife respecting very much, even anticipating him being there. There's no ward, potentially was cleared before we were able to get a look down there, but good on Tog for not overextending. His Subjugate used once again.
Yeah, and this is the time where Sneaky has to be a little bit careful. Even throughout it all, Trundle is a stat stick. And sometimes the Ornn stat stick isn't enough, but it appears that maybe a 3-level advantage makes it enough. You come to think of it, he can do whatever the hell he wants. Nothing matters anymore, as it's going to be an attempt into a trap there for Superlative, but the Yorda Snap Trap, not enough to really detain that Wukong for all too long. 3 plates claimed after that mid-tier one also went down on top of everything else. The only turret remaining right now for the Monkeys is their bot lane, but that doesn't feel like that's all too long for the world, as Toglife happy to just farm for a little bit more for a short while longer. Already at that 2-item spike with the boots upgraded. Happy to just keep on farming in his side lane. If anyone comes by, also happy to farm stacks off them. Currently sat just under 10 a minute, doing a great job on the ASL. He's the late game assurance though, for SG. Everyone else doing what they need to, right? And maybe even a little bit more than what they need to, because this has been kind of nasty to watch.
Yeah, and there is something poetic about you saying like, hey, Ornn's gotta be careful here. He's a bit of a stats thing, and as Ornn is just pummeling him under turret. There's an amount of optimism in you, Brew, that I think is envious. I think I wish if everyone could just look
it's not envy. It's not from like a place of optimism. It's from a place of past trauma.
Ah, I see. Yes, Trundle is a champ that will do that to you as
Volibear is also a champ that sometimes does that to me, but not this game. Nat really is a bug. I'll be honest. His name's lying to us, and to say otherwise would be to lie to everyone else on stream as well, as that's uncalled for from Jace with a 12 gauge. Make that a bloody 45 cal. That was absolutely disgusting. Flash Cyclone under the tier 2 on a Caitlyn without summoners. It feels like it's a little bit unnecessary. The split push is going well, I have to say that, for the monkeys. Korra's doing this to a bot lane tier 2. The mid lane, your mid laner rather, also attacking onto top. So while you did lose 3 in a random fight over your dead tier 2 mid, you did get a couple of turrets back. It could be worse. Those types of plays I'm absolutely fine with, if you can get compensation.
Absolutely, it's as good as they could get at this point, and those 2 members being mid lane would not have saved that mid lane turret. Would have potentially meant giving up more because those members would have likely died as well. So that could have been looking at an inhib turret gone, an inhibitor gone as well. Also, this Nat is not a bug name is throwing me for a loop because when I used to play basketball, my coach would tell me to play like a gnat, like just be in their face, annoying, constantly just moving around. And the only types of champs this guy's has played is like that kind of stuff, but he's not doing it. He's not listening to the coaching. You gotta be aggressive. You gotta be going forward. And
I don't think he can though. Like, especially at this phase of the game, he's down 3k gold. Earlier on, then maybe there's an argument for it, but at this point, he's tried it. He listened to you. What do you want to say to him? You did that.
I mean, this is what happens when you pick Volibear. I don't like this champ at all, and I think
Victim blaming once more. We love that. As nice dodge from Superlative. Might be the only nice thing about this play, though, is he's going to get slowly run over here by Sneaky. One more pillar to try and slow him down a little bit more. Root was nice, but Superlative ending up going to fall to Ghoul Freak instead. The arrows flying in from all different directions. Going to be more than enough to deal with the Caitlyn once more. That's a 6th death of this game already for the Caitlyn, to add on to what I think was 6 in game 1 as well. Not a fun day at all at the office for this bot laner. I can't say ADC because he played Mel in game 1 and he got what he deserved that time. But Caitlyn, I feel a little bit bad for.
Yeah, oh, what's Korra gonna do? Everybody hold on to your hats. They do have some vision of the pit because of that.
He might be able to kill Tult.
You can't not go for this, dude. You have to go for it. Here we go.
Flying over the wall. Okay, Ghoul Freak actually kind of caught out here. Subjugate onto the Varus, though, means not many resist. This is a steal from Nat is not a bug. Nice yoink there at the Baron. He's still going to likely fall down in about 3 seconds' time, but he's going to do a nice amount of damage on his way out the door. Hail of Arrow is going to go just wide. He's going to get a nice shield from the Sky Splitter as well, actually. Tult, incredibly low, going to go for a base of his own. The arrow flying in, piercing through the Volley Bear. And he might be 1,000 pierced. He might not. I can't tell what skin he is. He's dead at any rate, as it's another kill over to this Varus once more. Sneaky, he doesn't care. He goes 1v3 and he says, I like those odds. I like those numbers. Who is the stat stick now? I will admit it's him. I'm sorry for doubting you earlier on. You are the stat stick. You always have been. You always will be. You are disgustingly fed. Continue to be so. And I'm sure SG will have a very fun time moving in to the next phase of their lower bracket run.
Yeah, I mean, game's not over technically, but
sure.
I love in that fight when Volibear's running away and they realize that like Wukong's 1v3 and Sneaky's like, oh, I'll go help him, and it just waddles up there, ends up getting a kill in the end. Speaking of getting a kill, oh, he's actually showing mercy? How kind!
Is it mercy or is it just out of range of a searing charge? I'm honestly not even sure at that point. It feels like it was like, oh, my pillar didn't quite hit, and he's not. I'm not close enough to the turret. He lives this time. He doesn't live if he turns onto me though. That's on him. And even through the subjugate, Sneaky does not care at all. The Chains of Corruption are nice. Going to hit onto Nat as well. Going to get a reproc. Finally going through back onto the Wukong, back onto the Volibear, then onto the Trundle. The Chain's doing all sorts. As a little bit of help arrived at the right time there for Sneaky. His stat stickiness, not enough when all the stats end up on the Trundle, but more than enough when he has some friends to help him out.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter who's there, the subjugate on. Soraka rocks up and just kind of hits W. Didn't even use Wish, just hits W, walks around, make sure everyone's okay. Diadem also stacking up. I love the Dark Seal purchase as well.
Working. Why not?
It's a great grab, especially now that you're getting your control wards in a different slot. It's very useful. It's a thing that I actually have been surprised I haven't seen as many mages bot lane.
Chances, yeah.
Because you get that extra stack. You can get a Dark Seal early. You can just buy more components, so you just get more AP. I feel like even like a full split into the year, we still haven't seen the most experimentation out of these quests, and I hope we do start to see a little bit more now that the support farming nerf is gone. I think Senna might proc up a little bit more often. We might see some more supports in the AD carry role, so that they can
Who
have...
under this tomorrow? Oh, Allfire, I'm sorry, buddy. It was nice knowing you. See you later.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you stopping by. You had a great game on Diana. Unfortunately, you got outscaled by about the 25-minute mark. This time around, you made it to the 25-minute mark, so that's a positive. Though I'm not sure we could ever really say that monkeys were ahead in this one, as it feels like it is now just a slow, gradual march towards the grave for them. They're going to try, of course, as much as they can, but the soul is spawning in 2 minutes 30, if nothing else, for SGE to try and get this one over the line in as clean a fashion as possible. Still just those 2 deaths going pretty well so far. If they can avoid giving over these bounties, I'm honestly going to be pretty impressed. I think that'll be like a good testament to their team cohesion, if they can make sure they keep these bounties as they are.
Yeah, and to give some credit to Allfire in this game, I have had many a mid lane performance where you have not died a single time to your enemy laner, and they are just fed out of control, and it's like, well, I mean, I didn't do this. I haven't died to them once. But it is a little unfortunate, as for Nat is not a bug. They have now finished those 2 dumb items, so it will be all tank items going forward, and this Volibear could start providing a bit of a nuisance. As Jace with a 12 gauge, I will say, the way they've been playing and jungle pathing, we've caught it a couple times. This guy looks like he's playing for a job on like a big team. He's looking for an upgrade because he is pathing so efficiently, like letting his pet get the last hit on like every single big camp. I mean, he's like trying to put game on film right now.
Yeah, and well, he's done a great job of that so far, right? 9-0-7, his counterpart 0-6-1, as it's an attempt onto Sneaky. Let's see if they can get rid of one of those bounties. Monkey's going to have a try, and they're going to send a Spiraling Spare onto a clone. Unfortunate misplay there, as it's a beautiful Forge God. Oh my god, Sneaky landing onto nearly everyone there. The Supernova from the sky is going to destroy Mario where he stands. 2 for 0 to start this one here off, and the only one that's really low is Tulp, but that's because he's healing everyone else in return. Sneaky tanking a bit of damage, but you wouldn't notice if I didn't tell you. He is playing Ornn at the end of the day. So far, so good for SG as they have managed to kill the Caitlyn too. Where the hell did that happen?
They tried to go down bot or down mid lane to like escape from it. They walked onto the minion wave.
Unfortunate. One next turret down, second gonna follow. They're not even bothering with the minions. They're just hitting the thing without any help. Minions caught actually nicely there by Korra to make sure the backdoor protection does kick in. The next turret going to survive without half HP, but is he going to survive is maybe a different question. Soul is spawning in approximately 10 seconds or so. Not great health bars right now for SG. If MKC are ever going to find a fight, it is precisely now, but I'm not sure even that would be enough, because, oh my god, Korra just got deleted. He's technically alive, but he does have TP as well, so maybe he can get into this fight. He didn't exist for very long, though, and Allfire also forced right the way back. The zoning courtesy of this ASOL is absolutely ginormous, and the chains of corruption are even bigger. Nat is not a bug, once more caught out and forced into a full-on retreat, and Sneaky's not going to let him go easy. Chasing him down, Bowler's Breath onto the Caitlyn. Superlatives getting 1v1. The Ornn is absolutely disgusting. The rest of the fight has gone incredibly well for SGE, and make that 1v2, actually. Nat has turned up, but it feels like it's nowhere near enough. Deleted by the Ornn in a 1 versus 2. Taking out the final couple there was the Varus and the ASOL, and this one here is over. 40 kills, plays against 2. SGE putting down an absolute statement. This is the team that beat the 3 seed. This is the team that took a game off of the 2 seed. We were saying earlier, Monkeys have had an amazing playoff run so far. They put up some amazing performances, but this unfortunately was just not it. They get absolutely demolished, and they get thrown out of ESL. That is going to be a very free win, honestly. All things considered, Stun should be very happy with their performance today.
Absolutely. I mean, just a complete dominant performance in both games. And I feel like this game lasting a little bit longer, the fact that they got so many kills and were just so present on the map, it's like it's still just as impressive, even though they didn't finish it out quickly. This is a really good game confidence-wise going forward. I think that momentum, while it's hard to measure sometimes, you have XSV and CCI. Both have only played one playoff series so far. They're playing each other. You've got Stunned Gaming, who did lose in the first round in what I would consider to be somewhat of an upset to Spaghetti Spire, but they've now won this game. They're going to get to play next week, potentially in a rematch against Spaghetti Spire or in a matchup against TSI, who lost to the team they just smashed. So once they do that, they'll fight the loser of XSV or Crowd Control, which if they can beat them, that's like a huge confidence boost. Then you're in the final. So I feel like they're on like a really perfect lower bracket run to build up a ton of momentum, a ton of confidence, and put themselves in a position to really compete in the grand finals if they can get there.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is good or bad for them. That is also the end of the best of threes for the whole of the tournament, right? ESL now moving into best of fives for everything else. Next week, we've got, as I say, that XSV Hydra versus CCI in the upper bracket finals. Winner moves on to the grand finals to be played on April 21st. The loser of that has to go down to the lower finals, but as I say, the low side is everything from this point onwards, best of 5. I don't know if that favors Stunned, or if that is something maybe a little bit more worried about. I don't know how solid their champ pools are, but if today's anything to go off of, their first 2 games look pretty good.
Yeah, and it was mostly meta stuff. Other than the mid lane, I think that it looks like they can pretty much play whatever is up and available. I mean, they were Yunara Varus, which are the 2 highest picked AD carries. Soraka is obviously not very highly picked, but that style of champ, that enchanter style, is very sought after. Jarvan, Wukong, top lane was Mundo Ornn. So I feel like there's a lot of champs of that same class that they can just reuse. I think I would get. There's so many great performers in this series for Stunned Gaming, but I think I would give the player of the series to Jace. I feel like they were so present everywhere on the map in both games and able to get everyone far ahead, like supplement the bot lane in both games and then coordinate well into the mid and late game. Also the pathing, like I said, the pathing was incredible.
Yeah, did an amazing job making sure grabbing everything that's possible, including all those Drakes throughout the series. The bot push definitely helped with that. But overall, a dominant performance, start to finish for for Stunned, SGE. I forgot my letters for a second there. The alphabet's difficult, okay? But at any rate, that is all we have for today. As I say, best of 3s now over and done with, into best of 5s coming next week. But that was short, it was sweet, and it was brutally efficient from the Stunned Gaming Eclipse. We'll have to see what they can do next time around, as we'll see you guys then. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we hope you enjoyed. I hope that next time you have even more fun when those best of 5s start coming. We'll see you then.
Blinding lights, lost in your eyes, feeling the pressure. You and I, spending the night, chasing forever.